Yo, what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are going to be revisiting the #1 KvK group that's going into Season of Strife, which comes in a little over 107 billion, basically tying, if not exceeding, the previous strongest KvK group from SB2, that one being between, or including, BTR, EDS, IL, ROG, BNR, and IMD. So, today we're going to be talking about an updated PvP for T5 breakdowns after that Brink of War event has finished, which was basically that EOTC or pre-KvK event where you ended up having one of the biggest stages that really factored into power growth, if not the only one for the most part, which was the training stage. I believe that was stage 2. So we're going to take a look at some updated data. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us some. And then we'll also show you a little bit of the map because, again, Zone 2 should be opening up in a number of days. Okay. Let's go ahead and dive in to the goods here, fam. So, I ended up just going through this, probably, at least as of recording this, over the past 2 hours or hour and a half. So, we're coming up to reset. So, this happened about 19 to 2030 UTC on the 22nd. So, let's take a look first and foremost at the before stats. This was the first one we showed you, where we looked at, oh, you know what, I'll just do this, just because I want to be fancy. And so let's go before, right? So the first one we showed you, this is the matchup currently, right? So it's NOIR, NO2, TFS, AFS, RFS versus EIS, EIL, and it was SXB, BxS, and BXR. And the matchup was, again, 554 to 564 for total number of T5s instead of 50 mil plus threshold. And then we had a power difference of 51.935 to 45.971 billion. Now, also keep in mind, I rounded to the nearest millionth for these, just because, again, if I ended up doing it the long way, it would have taken let's just say, a lot of time. Then we look at 100 mil plus, and it was a 166 to 101 in favor of NOIR TFS. We saw a plus 10 differential as far as total T5s, which is on the EIS BxS side. And we saw a 5.964 power differential between, again, NOIR TFS having advantage there, along with having 10 less total T5s. But then when we looked at the 100 mil plus, right, they had 65 more 100 mil pluses. Now, after pulling the data recently, this is what the numbers look like currently. So it's a total number of 566 T5s on the NOIR TFS side. It's 587. So what was plus or minus 10 now is 21 in favor of the EIS BxS group. However, when we look at the power differential, we can see now that is 6.162 billion, which is greater than the previous 5.964 billion. That is in favor of NOIR TFS. When we look at the 100 mil plus differential, right, so now the total power is 55.061 billion to 48.899 billion. When we look at 100 mil plus, it's 199 to 124. They've extended that lead by 10 more, right? And so now we're seeing plus 75 in favor of NOIR TFS versus what was previously 65. Then, when we look at the differentials, this is what the differential looks like between the before and the after for what we have currently. So NOIR TFS, again, they have 12 more. They gained 12 T5 players. They gained 3.126 billion power. And they gained a total of 33 100 mil pluses. Now, that's between, again, all of the alliances in that union. On the EIS BxS side, they gained a total of 23 T5 players. They ended up seeing 2.928 billion power in growth. So, again, very close when you consider to 3.126, right? That's only a 0.198 differential. So they pretty much did almost about the same training-wise if you're kind of looking across the board. When it comes to 100 mil pluses, however, again, you're seeing the plus 10 differential there where they had 33 new 100 mil pluses compared to 23 100 mil pluses on the EIS BxS side. Now this, again, when you think about the after, this is really kind of what we're focusing on more so, right? The differential I just thought would be nice to kind of show you what was the in-between. But really, this is what we're looking at now, right? So, in short, NOIR TFS got 10 100 mil plus players stronger. And they ended up extending their power, even though the differential between them is not that much, the growth of power that they got, right, going from 55, right? So you have to think about this from 51 to 55, right? They gained that 3.126 billion power, and then the 2.928. So everyone grew, right, as we said, about the same. But NOIR and TFS still were able to grow, even if it was just a little bit more compared to what, right, compared to the differential they were already at. So really, if anything, the gap has just got a little bit wider, right, than what it was previously. So that is basically what it is now. If you want to look at the individual, now I didn't count BxS and SXB, and that's because they got rid of BXR, and they changed up their power distribution between the alliances, so maybe it could have been for row purposes, and now it's not, but I didn't count it because the numbers weren't as consistent, they weren't as close together, that would have shown more of a general power growth from training, so that's why I just didn't end up counting that. With that in mind, now I still could have done it total. I guess, yeah, when I think about it logically, I still could have done it total because it is still total T5s overall. So, yeah, now that I think about that, my apologies. I think I was thinking a little bit too much on it. But, I mean, the data's here, right? It's just a matter of plugging it in and looking at the difference in power. And you know what, since I'm here, other people are going to give me shiitake mushrooms if I don't do it, so let's just do it real quick. 1 2 3 1 2 3, we'll do 9 5 4 1 1 2 3 1 2 3 5 2 8 2 1 2 3 1 2 3, and that brings us to let's just write that down on a little notepad. Why don't we? Which is over her. So that's you know what, I'll just copy paste. That's 22.48 billion. We'll put that there. And then we'll do the new one, which is, sorry, what am I looking at? 18,373, 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then we'll do 5860, 1 2 3 1 2 3, and that comes out to 24. So okay, so then we'll do 24.23. Let's minus. Is that right? If I'm minusing that, I guess this is a total 483, 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, so their kingdom for. I'm already going crazy. Is it 61? I'm already forgetting. But for the BxS kingdom, they grew 1.75 billion for about how much training they did for themselves. So if anyone is curious on that, bam, there's the math or size me. So yeah, there we go. Honorable mention, we'll say. But this is the plus minus as far as where you can see the growths are, right? So you can see that like the NOIR TFS group, right, ended up gaining, and this is the differential between the two, right? So, right, they gained another 50 mil plus player, right? They lost 60 mils, 12, 80 mils. That's because, again, they're growing, right? You can see gaining 19, 12, and 2, and then same thing on the bottom. So, I mean, it's pretty close when you're looking at, right, the amount gained and lost overall. However, now let's just show off a little bit of the map for kind of how things are lining up. So, again, as we know, NOIR is bottom right. We have TFS top left. And then if we go top right, we have, oh gosh, where am I looking? EIS, and then bottom left, BxS. That we have. Now, how it's kind of looking right now is NOIR has built out here to Pelenos for the Zone 2. BXR is there, but BxS is not built out over here. Again, they could still swap and just TP people over there as well, right? So keep in mind, because that's the Union, right? So you can argue the only really advantage is that they could be double building in here, but BxS could still technically TP people onto BXR territory and then go in through the pass as well. And then, again, if we look on the top side over here, we can see that BxS and SXB have built out to both of the level 1 passes, right, that are where TFS and I believe this will be AFS, right, are at. I guess I should also notice that BXR is technically the farm, right, or third or fourth alliance, if you will. So the two mains are over here. So this kind of gives us this indication that they are looking to kind of can basically put all their main forces here. And then if we look over at Nivola, similarly, we could see RFS is up here. They've built out to both. And then you have EIS and EIL, right, the two mains that are over here in Nivola. Coincidentally, if we go over to Agoru, which is not, well, that's a lot of territory over there, we could see that HUM has built something out here, but EIS hasn't. So at the moment, right, and you could see here NO2 has built out and NOIR. So it almost looks like no one's going to fight NOIR potentially for Zone 2, and they're going to try and maybe box in TFS and AFS, and Personally, I think that if that is the case, and we'll maybe do a strategy video later on, but I will say that if that generally is going to happen, then my advice really would be for TFS and AFS to just fight one battle at a time. There's no point in kind of dividing up your forces and trying to take on a 2v1, right? You pick one of the two, and then if you're able to get the W against them, then you can go and push the other side because there will still be plenty of PvP for your group. That would be my recommendation, and it kind of seems like that might be happening with TFS and AFS just kind of already lining up to fight against BSX and SXB, if that's right. So that'll be interesting when the zone opens. Again, we'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think about the updated data? What do you think about how the current matchup is looking right now on the map and how things may or may not play out by the time Zone 2 opens? And yeah, does anyone want to see anyone else just die and go 6 feet under because you hate their guts? Let me know in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time.